Hi everyone, it's June 9th, 2012, and I'm in Athens, Greece at the moment. You can probably see by the Acropolis there in the distance. And I have 2 days left in Europe. I found a way to get out of here at a really good price, which is kind of an incredible story. I often tell people that you have to be extremely persistent in order to get a good deal in terms of saving money when you travel long distances, and it requires a lot of your own impetus and research in order to get somewhere with it, because people usually get kind of frustrated or assume that a general quote that they're getting is all that there is available. And I don't remember if I told this story to the YouTube channel, but I had initially planned to do a 3-week tour of Europe in February. It had to do with an interview that I had in the US, but for which I was rejected by the job because I didn't have any debt, which means you're a flight risk. At any rate, as plans became modified, I knew that I would face about $280 in penalties for changing various aspects of my ticket. But when I did attempt to do this by calling both Orbitz.com's call center and that of Continental United, I think those are the two airlines that are paired. It may have been American Airlines, I really don't remember at this point. I got such a runaround that I couldn't really do anything with the tickets. And after spending 3 hours on the phone, I did just capitulate, because one of the conditions was that you would have to know the exact dates that you wanted to fly ahead of 6 hours before the initial dates proposed or that were booked on the ticket. And personally, I didn't really know when I would be ready and wanted to rather leave things open-ended. I would happily pay fines, but would rather have an open-ended credit. But also, when you do this, if you go ahead and make the date, you also have to pay the differential of what they say the value of the ticket, the revised tickets or onward journey would be. So really, it would have been $300 or $400 anyway to make any sort of modifications. But still cheaper to work out an extended journey if you have a bunch of places that you want to see ultimately anyway. It's always better to do long journeys of several countries than to do 1 or 2 countries at a time. Although it's a lot more exhausting, and you tend to how can I say, not cover as much of each place as you normally would if each place is fresh to you. So in other words, by the end of your journey, you're going to end up skipping a lot of things just because you're tired. Anyway, I had heard of charter flights before, and after spending about pretty much 2 full days searching for flights back to North America, I was typically finding about $800 or $900 one way, which is often higher than a return ticket. But I couldn't purchase a return ticket because it just wouldn't make any sense to do it, and you can't transfer the names anyway. But after 2 days of really exhaustive research, just spontaneously, I found a $250 one-way ticket from Athens to Toronto. And on an inkling, I tested for Montreal and found the same thing. And while I do want to go to Toronto, in the near future, as I haven't been there before, I have more open-ended promises to visit friends in Montreal than I do Toronto. And probably a few business things that are more likely in Montreal anyway. So I researched more extensively, and there are not really harsh baggage restrictions for these flights. In fact, the baggage allowance for economy for this same price works out to be 66 pounds or 30 kilos for the check-in baggage, but only one bag. And for the carry-on, it's 10 kilograms or 22 pounds. And so this gets me into North America for $250. Unbelievable, really. So, miraculously, I really haven't lost anything. In fact, I've gained a bit. And something you should know if you're flying into Canada is that typically the landing taxes, either going in or also departing, are quite high. So this ticket is actually only about $30 on its own, but I think 180 of it is taxes to do at the airport. And so if I were to fly out of Montreal, it would be, I think, $500 one way to Kansas, which is really outrageous. I'm not going to